All right, it is Wednesday, May 27th. We are here for the Wednesday night edition of This Fan's View, and we have Carl, John, Lauren, Anthony, and myself. And we'll kick it over to John for who wore it best. I think we're going on 13.
Going on 13.
How'd 12 turn out?
12 was a very good turnout by the viewers with the voting. We had over 450 votes this month from Monday night. Randall Cunningham won. He beat out Tim Kerr and Matt Stairs and World Be Free as well. So it was a good turnout. We had a couple of write-in votes. And it was a very good turnout. It seems like everybody's building on to it now. So they're figuring it out how to use the poll by clicking on it instead of commenting. So that's good.
Right.
Tonight's matchup is going to be a little bit of an interesting one. Some people say it's a landslide, and some people. We have for the Phillies, we have Billy Wagner. For the Eagles, we have Nelson Aguilar. For the Flyers, we have Kevin Hayes. Which, by the way, thanks for commenting and helping us out with the promotion there yesterday. And for the Sixers, we have Will Chamberlain. So I think it might be a little bit of a tough matchup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close.
You never know. You never know. I think it's a little bit lopsided, but you never know. It's all up in the viewers' hands right
now. John, Joe Stinger is asking how close the voting was. I'm guessing from number 12, Randall Cunningham. He had well over 300 votes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 350 votes for Randall and 71 for Tim Kerr in second place.
Yeah, so it wasn't close at all.
No, it was not. Nope. But that's how some of them will go. Maybe tonight's will be a little closer.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I don't know. I think Nelson's going to run away with it.
Yeah, he's the Super Bowl champion. So
he is the crowd favorite.
So
John O'Brien.
Yes.
O'Brien, can I throw the red flag?
You like that red flag?
3 minutes in.
How does Nelson Aguilar make this show?
What were the other options?
It was Josh Huff was the other option.
Josh who?
Josh Huff.
Oh, Josh Huff. Oh.
Yeah. So it was just kind of by default. But somebody had to be the sacrificial.
That's fair.
That's an insult. It's not by default. It's an insult.
I'm curious to see if he actually gets one vote.
Well, see, you just threw out the challenge, so somebody's going to vote for him. So. We've always had.
What was that?
This is as bad as Don Brown, for crying out loud.
I didn't think we were allowed to speak his name at all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what do we have on him? The Maloiks. The Maloiks ran out. He's back in Reading, right? He's back in town. He's leaving the good life now. He's got a hitting camp. Life is good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if that's considered the good life, sure.
For him, maybe it is.
Absolutely.
And Nelson Aguilar has moved on to where? The Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep. Back closer to the West Coast where he was from with his USC days. So maybe you'll turn things around.
He'll probably become an all-pro out there.
He may.
Was there any did you guys think it was going to be Billy Wagner? Because yesterday we put it out to our Facebook fans asking them for kind of their input on Billy Wagner or Freddie Galvis. And Billy Wagner ended up pulling out on that one.
Yeah, I was very surprised on that one. I would have gone with Freddie Galvis myself. I think he was a little underrated here. Following in the footsteps of Jimmy Rollins made it a little hard for him to be, for people to take him serious, I guess, or comparing him to Jimmy Rollins. So that might have, but he played well, good defense all around. So he should have won a couple Gold Gloves actually, but he got snubbed. Not having the offensive numbers, but I was surprised on that. It was close though. It was a 45-55 split, about 50 votes difference between them. So, and we had I think it was 400 or 500 votes on that. It was over 500 votes on that one, so it was pretty good.
All right.
Oh God, sorry. We were just laughing at Robert Stead's.
What's up with
I don't know.
that
It's number
comment?
13, not 21.
21.
Unless he meant 12 instead of 21, which is
Is
also
he
wrong.
dyslexic? I don't know what's happening there.
Or is he just drunk? He could be drunk.
It could be all three.
Okay. Well, anyways, John, who are you voting for?
Me, I am going with Will. Mr. Number 100.
And I like this collection of items you have behind you. I didn't realize you were quite the Wilt fan.
Well, he's probably one of the only ones outside of Philadelphia. I mean, he's in Philadelphia, but the Phillies that I have a few items for.
Okay.
So yeah, it's part of the show. We got to have the stuff up.
I got the live red button right in front of everything, so I don't see nothing. How do I
you gotta expand your screen.
Yeah, you need a bigger screen, Dad.
Yeah.
Mario,
right.
who you got?
I'm going Will.
Okay.
I think this is a given.
I'm going number 13.
Good start. Yep. Mhm.
Kevin Hayes. It's hockey season, baby.
Ringing the bell.
Why do we even have you on the show?
I'm trying to get booted off. Is that
She's going
is
to
that
keep you off
even
your own
possible?
show here.
I'm literally, if I still had the controls on this show, I don't run the StreamYard thing. Otherwise, in Zoom, you would be having a technical difficulty right now.
Well,
Dad.
pass it to. It's so easy to pick Wilt.
Right.
Kevin
That's
Hayes-
why you pick it.
No.
So
gotta go with
you think he wore 13 better than Will Chamberlain? Honestly.
That's what you're telling me.
this year? Absolutely.
No.
That's not the point. It's
Overall.
not this year. Oh, yep. Brian Brown, right on the money. There's always one. Yep, and that's you. That is Carl. There's always one Henderson.
Well, you gotta think he's a friend of the show now. He gave us that little ad there for the show that he wants to win. He's going out there to win now. That's all you can do.
You guys all want to go to the parade with me.
That's right. You'll be up there with Kevin Hayes on the parade.
He is hopeless, Steve. You are absolutely right about that one. He is absolutely hopeless.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Oh God,
You're like
you know what you're like? You're like the Baseball Hall of Fame voter who didn't vote for Derek Jeter just because he didn't deserve to have a unanimous vote.
Yeah,
That's what you are. You are that Baseball Hall of Fame voter.
Yeah, but he's a snake in the grass because nobody knows who that is.
We know.
It doesn't matter. You're still him. You're still him, whether anyone knew or not. That is you.
See,
Right, you got Jack in your corner,
Schroeder.
Carl.
Jack Broder.
Yeah, you got Jack in your
Of
corner.
course, he's going to be in your corner. He doesn't even think basketball's a real sport. Moving
It
on.
is.
Anthony?
You know the answer. Come on.
All right. 2 for Wilt over here.
Uh-oh.
All right, so we got 4-1.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, hey, it's all good.
There you go, Steve Harris. You'll never get back on the show.
You're lucky to make it to next Monday at this rate.
Oh God.
All right.
I make
Wow.
call out sick.
So with that, what do we got next?
Listen to you taking charge.
Really?
Somebody's got to. So
Okay.
you want to talk hockey since that just came out with their plan to go forward with the playoffs? which I still see is a little bit up in the air, but at least I have some type of direction.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
it was good to hear some positive in sports. You know, there's a plan out there that
But
hopefully.
it's still all contingent on what they're allowed to do as far as what the government tells them they're going to be able to do.
Well, that's
Mario,
with everything.
the states are open.
They're
Well, I
open.
think-
Facilities are open.
I understand that.
I think
I
it's
understand
dependent on what the governors decide for each state. Like
Right.
Pennsylvania's governor just released that today that we're allowed to resume professional sports here. So it's just a matter of
Sure.
all of that and
Look,
figuring
there's
it out.
There's going to be 4 locations to go play basically a round robin tournament.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to happen.
Okay.
Well,
It's just a matter of where.
and
well-
then how much it affects next year,
right.
as far as the start of next year. But
You know, it's
And Joe, do we think it's the right plan? It's a plan. It doesn't really matter.
Usually more than 4.
We really don't have a say in it, but if this is the plan that's going to get the playoffs done,
Of
then
these.
why not? I don't think it's what anybody envisioned, but it is what it is, and we'll at least get sports on.
And have they recently narrowed it down to those 4?
No.
Because
They-
I'm
they-
certain it's still a variety of cities from this morning.
Yes,
you know,
correct.
your blog post had, a few more than 4 listed. So I think it boils down to which ones are
Well, I don't think
the safest.
I don't think they want to pick that right now because that's a moving target. It could change within a day. So,
Right.
if like they were talking about some of the Canadian cities are a little bit tougher to maybe go, player movement. So then could it be Los Angeles? Well, Los Angeles, was hit pretty hard. Ohio was hit pretty hard, but all that could change at a moment's notice. So,
Mhm. Is there a
Well-
time frame for them to pick?
well, they're not going back to practice till July. So I guess they have a while to figure it out.
yeah, I mean, supposedly three of the places that they're going to have is which you'll like this one, Anthony.
Mhm.
Was Columbus was one of the towns where they'll have the arena. Pittsburgh is another one, which I don't see that being a great spot for for the Flyers. And then Toronto is another one.
Right.
So I just don't know. If you're doing 24 teams, why have any of them have their own home field of ice?
Well, there won't be any fans there, so I don't know how much.
Well, but you're still playing in you're still in your arena. It's
Yeah.
You're used to how the ice is going to be, and there's just home ice.
Well, I think that's why there's that many on there because let's say you said Pittsburgh or Columbus, Ohio, or whatever it is, and then let's say the numbers start going through the roof, then you can move it to one of the other places that might slow down a little bit. So,
Right.
Yeah, I don't. As long as they play, I don't care where they play.
So two of the cities are in Canada, which I think they're going to be taken out just for ease of travel.
Yeah, and then Los Angeles is huge. I was thinking originally maybe like a Pittsburgh and Las Vegas. Pittsburgh wasn't hit very much. It's going to go to the green phase pretty soon, and then Las Vegas, they're opening the casinos next week.
Mhm.
That was just on the news today. So
Right.
that's what I initially thought. Now, obviously, if you open things back up and by middle of June numbers go up, that could change, and I think that's why they just want to keep it at those cities for now.
Right.
Right.
So how do we feel about where the Flyers fared in all of this?
I mean,
Well, they're
it's pretty
top-
good.
Yeah.
They're a top 4 team. I mean, they were playing extremely well. I mean, they put the best 4 teams at the top. So it's just a
Why?
matter of
Why so many teams?
I guess because there was 19 games left or something like that, 21
Yes.
games.
Okay.
Something.
Yep.
So I guess they didn't want to slight because what they have 12 in each one, and so eight in each one, so they added 4 extra teams. So I guess they just figured those 4 teams were close enough that they could have theoretically had a chance at a playoff run.
Gotcha.
Plus,
So
the more teams in it, the more money, the more chances your team's going to be in it, so you'll watch longer.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't think anybody's going to not watch if you're a hockey fan, no matter who's in it, just because it might be the only thing on at this point.
No, true. I mean,
Other than,
yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree there because I think the NBA is getting ready to make an announcement as well, and they're going to play down in Orlando,
Mhm.
at the Wide World
Right.
of Sport facility. So,
right. But if you have hockey and basketball and no baseball, it's not going to be every night. I wouldn't think anyway.
Right.
it's going to be every night, 3 times a day.
And it's not going to be your team.
Right.
So for me personally, if the Flyers aren't playing, I don't particularly care.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that's not the same for everybody on here. I totally get that. But yeah, and I think you're going to see not as many games because you don't have baseball now. So you basically just have this playoff format for the hockey and then hopefully for basketball.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Flyers got hurt a little bit just because they were playing so well to have the break.
Mhm.
Now I have to restart it up again. Everybody's got to restart. So I think, it is what it is, but I think they kind of, and it just would happen with anything. They lost that momentum that they had going that, hopefully they can rebound and get that momentum going quickly.
Well, that's all 24 teams.
Right.
They're
All
all, we've all, everyone's experienced that. So, it's time.
Yeah, but you know how it is though going into the playoffs hot. As they were, that it could carry you a lot further than starting up from scratch again. That's all.
Well,
And they have a little bit of a downside because whoever they end up playing just came out of a series.
Right. It's going to be the same for everybody. They're all going to be tired. They're all going to be playing a lot.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, but he also had that competitive juices flowing. Then playing those 5-game series. Three games or whatever. You have to play, but
being off as long as they have been, how is this going to affect their playing, and how accurate are the games going to be as far as how it would have ended up if they continued to play on without this big long break?
So
how do you answer that?
Right.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's kind of a rhetorical question, but I think it's a valid one.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way of knowing. You have no idea what would have happened with the Flyers and how anything would have panned out. But you hope that they can figure it out and get back to where they were.
There's definitely going to be a story or two, and people are going to say, where'd this team come from? Well, you've had 2 months to, anything can happen in something like that. It's different than what we've ever seen before. So there's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 teams that you're like, where the heck did they come from?
Right.
Was there any player that was injured that is going to come back from this break for the Flyers?
There was.
Yeah, there were a couple of players. Van Beesbrook, not Van Beesbrook. JVR. He was out. Didn't he have a busted hand or something? Who was Nolan Patrick? They're still not sure of with the concussions.
Right.
Who was the other? There was somebody else that.
Nolan Patrick.
Next day in JVR and Nolan Patrick. I thought there was somebody else. But they got to get back on the ice. They got to start practice hard, a couple times a day, and see where.
And when does that start?
I think they're gonna roll right back into it sometime next week.
Okay.
Some players are already here. Yeah, Justin Braun was the other. Was the other player. that was injured. But yeah, some players, live here, stayed here, so they're ready to rock and roll. But you got guys, a lot of are up in Canada, so they've got to figure out, how to get them out of Canada.
Right.
So
And
you've got
plus
that issue as well.
Yeah, and plus I think under that phase one that they're in right now, with it, they have a limited practice,
Right.
player wise. So it's like maybe one, basically each line might practice it together, and then type of thing. And
How's this going to be for injuries?
they're expanding the rosters.
Okay.
So I mean, it's gonna, it's gonna affect it just like everything else.
You're already putting the horns on them. You're already
Right.
putting the on them.
Did I mention Flyers? No, I'm talking about overall. I'm talking about the players.
Well, hopefully nobody gets hurt, but
I'm
well, no, but things are going to happen. With all sports being delayed. So yeah, 6 players at a time on the ice.
So I mean, over at Voorhees, they've got 2 gigantic rinks. So you're talking about multiple skating sessions,
right?
And these guys are in such great shape, to begin with. It's just a matter of getting on the ice and getting their legs back.
Right.
So I mean, that's where you gotta find out, who's been on the bike, who's been running, who's been, or who's been, sitting home drinking beer.
Oh yeah, no, exactly.
So now they're doing all this without anybody in the stands watching them? They're not going to allow
no fans,
okay.
no fans,
Right.
no fans. Nobody's going to have fans.
Right.
No. The only fans are going to be the extra players in baseball anyway. So keep them out of the dugout. They'll be in the stands.
God.
So the NHL seems to kind of have a tentative plan, at least, and it sounds like the NBA is going to have one over the next couple of days. I think there's a meeting scheduled for tomorrow and then one for Friday. So that one seems a little bit easier to organize, only because it seems to all be in one place. But that's also the sport that has probably the most contact out of all 4. So that's kind of an interesting one in kind of the player safety there.
And the less body coverage, too.
Right.
So,
I mean, they're easily number one in they all touch the same basketball. They're sweating. They're falling.
It's also more of a chance to get somebody's finger in your eye. Just
right. There's definitely a lot of risk factors there that the other sports don't have.
Yeah.
But
which it also helps the Sixers, and they coming back now. They'll have Ben Simmons back healthy.
Mm-hmm.
For the basketball. So that hopefully, knock on wood, is a bonus for both Philadelphia teams coming back for the playoffs. The guys are going to be healthy for them.
Look at Steve Harris trying to nose his way back into the show. Ben Simmons was working out today in Camden. Trying to nose his way back in, right? He thinks that little bit of information is gonna get him another play.
Has the NBA decided or made any type of announcement yet as to if they're just going right to the playoffs the way hockey did, or if they have any plans to resume the regular season?
I haven't
heard. Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
I don't
As
think
far
they've
as
made
that.
that announcement yet.
Right.
Yeah, but I would assume with the NHL doing it, I would think that basketball would do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like just follow suit.
Right. Just because you're that is just going to extend the season that much longer.
Right.
Playing another 18, 19 games.
When's your season start?
Who?
It's the
Basketball.
When does it start?
It normally starts in what? October?
October? I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
Ends in June? Yeah.
they're probably going to start next year on Christmas Day. That's what they're
Oh, wow.
saying. It'll be Christmas Day to start the season.
So did I miss the segue where we ended hockey and we moved right into basketball?
We all followed it.
We're too busy voting for Kevin Hayes when that happened.
That all happened, right? That's all a thing. So
Do you have something else to add about hockey?
I guess not.
Okay.
Nah, I guess not. I'm just trying to get my ducks lined up. That's all.
Well, I mean, I know you have nothing to contribute when it comes to basketball, but we do have to talk.
That's not true. That's not true.
There's a red flag.
It's true. There's a flag on the ground, and you voted for Kevin Hayes. So
Somebody's got to be that guy. Come on.
I know, but like, does it always have to be you? Ugh.
Sometimes it's me.
Hey, somebody has to.
I got yelled at the other day for not rooting for Dutch. So
I didn't yell at you.
well, there's a lot of eye rolls.
That's just.
But no, I think the December Christmas start of the NBA season will be a forever thing.
So does that then also affect hockey? So here you go, Dad. Does that affect when the hockey season starts again as well? Are they talking about a delayed start?
Oh, hockey, yes. Yes.
Dad, you had a shot there to talk about hockey and you said nothing. Oh,
Because Mr. Hockey jumped in.
The hockey guy.
There's way too many moving parts right now. There's too many moving pieces. I think what they really want to accomplish is getting these 24 teams, whether you like the 24 teams or not. There's some question there how they arrived at those 24 teams. That they just want to get this portion of the season completed and pass off Lord Stanley to somebody. And they'll worry about, when the season ends and how they're going to start, the new season. Because there's still a lot of questions, is this virus going to trickle back in? You know what I mean? And cause more postponements? Are we jumping in too early? Have we done all the homework that we need to do? I guess if it was easy for the hockey gods to play under one roof like basketball wants to, that would be the easy fix. But the NBA, these guys need to figure it out, whether it's hockey, basketball, football. Look at football. Look how much time's being lost there, with no OTAs for these drafted young players and guys that have been traded and switched teams. I mean, you're talking about virtual meetings. How the hell is that working out?
Yeah.
But the NovaCare complex will open back up next weekend.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that is correct. But again, we're talking about limited, usage, only so many guys, in that room, so many guys in that room. I mean, how effective is all this going to be?
Right.
I don't think it's not going to be as effective as they need it to be anyway.
You're probably the worst one to ask because you are Mr. Negative.
No, that's not being negative. That's being realistic.
It is.
It's not going to be as effective as they need it to be.
How is it being realistic? How is it being? You should be a scientist then if it's realistic.
No, that's probably the stupidest comment I ever heard in my life.
You got to move on. You need to move on. You can't.
We are moving on.
You got to cancel all these seasons?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not going to be as effective as they need it to be. If you can't have everybody on the field practicing at one time, it's not going to be as effective as they need it to be. It's not negative. It's being realistic.
You're not going to get that.
I'm agreeing with you.
Or next week. It's all going to be a process to get to that point.
I'm agreeing with you. You don't see that, but I'm agreeing with you. It's just not going to be as effective as they need it to be in order to play at the level that they're going to have to play at.
Well, you'll probably see when they all start up. There's going to be any sport, but football there'll be a lot of passes that are missed because you're not in the groove.
Right.
Hockey, you're gonna everything is going to be, it's going to take a few games to get to.
It's going to be a learning curve for everybody.
Right.
I mean, there's going to be no way you're not going back to your normal sports arrangement the way it was before all of this. And so,
Is
yeah,
that ever or just for right now?
Well, I guess,
it'll just be a while. I mean,
Right.
I think another learning curve is not having fans. There's no sort of like adrenaline to run off of as, having fans there. So there's that, and I don't think you see fans until next year.
hopefully.
And so, you can't have a crowd that size get together when you don't have a vaccine yet. So, not only, like Mario was saying, having all the guys on the field to run plays and drills and all that stuff together, but it's a learning curve without fans at the same time. So it's definitely going to be an adjustment. But yeah, I mean, like Bob said, something is better than nothing at this point. It's just, you can't go into it thinking it's going to be exactly where it left off.
It's not. If you can't have both lines on the field practicing actual plays, it's not going to be as effective as it needed to be.
Well, you have to. That's the sport. You got to work your way back into it.
I'm not saying that you're going to have to work your way back into it, but you're not able to do that now.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Phil and Tiger didn't have a problem on Sunday. They rolled right out of their bag and didn't have a problem at all.
That's two guys.
They didn't miss a beat.
And plus, it should be a bonus for the Eagles then, because they have the same coaching staff at least, where everybody else in the NFC East has got new coaches. So hopefully that benefits us then.
Mm-hmm.
That at least they know what to expect versus other teams. But yeah, I mean, you're paid professionals. You have to be ready, and so you're not actually going up against that person, but you gotta, it's the same moves. You just, it may take you an extra couple plays, in practice, but you gotta be ready to do those moves. They could be doing those moves at home, on tackle dummies.
Well, look at Brady. Brady's got his guys, and he's practicing at a private school down in Florida.
Right.
I mean, so there's parts of practicing going on already.
But Florida opened up a lot sooner than we did.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, so some of the guys can go down and with Carson and the wide receivers go down to Florida themselves and practice. I mean, there's options that you can do. You don't have to be in Philadelphia to do it. It's not like they all live here anyway. They're all over the country as it is.
Well, I think what it comes down to, you're going to have small groups, and then the groups are going to, every week they're going to get bigger. Because you're only looking at 3-4 weeks for hockey before they start playing games if this plan goes through. So
hopefully,
you got to put them together at some point. So, you just can't you can't say, well, those 6 guys work good together, so we'll bring them on. And it's got to be a team thing at some point. So it's just it's a process that they're all going to go through until. Like Anthony's been saying, until the first guy tests positive and then throws a wrench in this whole thing, and then we're back to square one.
Well, and that's why I think what was the conversation happening just a few minutes ago was slow and steady wins the race. You can't throw everybody out on the field together at the same time. So they're going to have to adapt to practicing in smaller groups until this gets a little bit better. So yeah, Tom Brady is practicing down in some football field somewhere, but he's not practicing with anybody else.
Right.
He's got a very small group of guys with him, and that's how it's going to be for a little while until these guys can get adjusted to what's happening. Then they can talk about all practicing on the field together. And that's the reality of it. People think, oh, sports is back, and it's just a flip of a switch, and now we're back to where we were March 13th when all this happened, but that's not reality.
No, it's not. But also, and that's kind of how practices are anyway. Brady's going to be up with his wide receivers anyway, even when nothing's going on in the world. He's going to have his wide receiver. So it's basically doing the same thing. You don't need your offensive lineman in front of you at practice to throw passes and get, in time and with your wide receivers. It might affect the running backs maybe a little bit different, being able to read the line in front of them when they're running. But, you just that's where you gotta be professionals and do your job, and everything works. And not worry about, I got this pandemic is screwing me up. I didn't know where to go.
So Steve has a good question. You think everything gets shut down again if somebody tests positive on one of the teams?
I think it'll be huge news the first person that it happens to.
Right.
I think they'll try to quarantine that person immediately, but you will see that all over every piece of media, and I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep that sport going no matter how much they want it to go. Because the first person that gets it, it's going to be a gigantic story. And we'll see what happens when they get there. I'm hoping in all these theoretical plans, they have a plan for that, because that seems to be the most important thing. But you haven't heard that once. I personally think the first person that gets it, it'll be a gigantic news story. And I don't know if that particular league would be able to continue after that point. I guess it all depends on where we are in this whole vaccine thing, or what's happening at that point in time. But I imagine it would be very hard to continue going on once that happens, because, there's thousands of people that go, are involved to get each game going on, and you're going to have to test a lot of people, once you get to that point.
Well, these guys are going to be getting temperatures taken. Tests are going to be taken daily, right?
Yeah, but you got to get tested for 14 straight days, and at any point during those days, it could come up. So that person will immediately leave. No one. Let's say there's another 13 days that passes, and then his teammate gets it. Now he has to leave.
Right.
And during that time, you don't know who. That's why it's so important that you be careful. That's as much as we want everyone to play, you just have to be careful, because it's scary. You don't know what can happen.
So are these teams families with them?
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, and they have to be tested as well.
Yeah,
right.
They have to get tested. Anyone that comes in or out of that realm has to continuously be tested.
Right.
I think in the basketball and the hockey, if since they already went through it and shut down the season, I think you would just end up losing that player. Like you said, put them in quarantine, and if your team makes it past 14 days,
They're only testing these guys for 14 days, and then they're not testing them anymore?
No, they're going
to be testing them forever.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're testing them every day. But if you say you get coronavirus and you find out today,
Right.
there potentially could be 14 days that the virus takes to show up in someone.
Right.
So your teammate, they all need to. No, I think every plan's different. Like when we get to baseball, it was 3 days that the owners a week wanted the guys tested, and the players said absolutely not. We want to be tested more than that. So no, I imagine they're going to be tested every time they come in, every time they go out, every day is what I would imagine.
And even their families,
right,
as well.
Right.
So but that's right. Like you said, I think you have to with basketball and hockey, you kind of just say, hopefully it's not one of your superstars that affects the team, but John O'Brien, you got coronavirus today, so you're out for the playoffs, and that's why they have expanded rosters, and now Anthony, you're coming in and taking my place. Go get them. Type of thing. And
but that's the other thing. Season. That's the other thing, John. I don't know if people are understanding. So, like, say you're in a playoff run, right? LeBron James gets coronavirus. Right. You got to wait the rest of the playoffs. Say there was supposed to be a game tomorrow. What do you do if it takes 14 days to show up? These are the little things that I don't think people are thinking about. Like, can you even have a game? You have to wait 2 more weeks. What I was saying was if once that person gets tested and is positive, he's out, and then somebody else might be infected, in that time. That's what I'm saying. Your own team, though, you have to wait potentially 2 weeks so you could play another game to make sure.
No, I think they're just going to keep them going, but like I said, just next man up, and then hopefully the next man's not down because of it, but.
That's just when you think about it, that's the human aspect. That's also scary too, because those guys could be playing for 13 more days, and then everyone gets it. You know what I mean? It's just
and that's why I don't like we keep saying that, and that's why I think they they keep using the medical field, the higher ups, as their excuse. Well, we have these plans, but we can't do anything until medical people say that we can. So I think they're just trying to, boost our spirits to say, hey, yeah, hockey's coming back and basketball's coming back, and football. Troy Vincent was saying the other day, yeah, we have plans in game one. We're having full stadium, and then the next statement was, well, this is now, but we're talking about September and October, and if the medical people tell us we can't, then we can't. Well, then why do you say you're doing it? Yeah, you have plans that you want to do it, but it's not realistic at this moment that that's going to happen. So why say it and get people go and buying tickets? I'm going to go see the Eagles when they go out to Las Vegas this year or wherever, type of thing. And so it's there's talking too much. And like I said, if you're going to do it, you're just going to have to be barbarian about it and just okay. You got corona, you're sitting out, and next person up, and knock on wood, nobody else, got in contact for those next 13 days, or you just don't do it at all. One or the other. It's.
But I mean, it's also fascinating that the NHL and the NBA and the players were able to come to sort of a decisive agreement, and baseball is still just working it out.
Well, planning playoffs is a lot easier than trying to condense half a season.
Right, but baseball's also played outside, which is significantly safer than indoors.
True.
So.
Yeah, but those other sports aren't spitting and high-fiving like that.
Yeah. No, what's that?
I think they got frozen.
It's going to be a little rough with the, with different the rules that you can't high five, you can't spit, you can't when you're on the traveling team, you can't go out to restaurants, and they're talking about big fines for that reason. So it's kind of. I think that's another reason why the Players Association is not going for it because, you spit. Spitting is just natural part of the game,
right?
They're even talking about if the pitchers, if more than two players, touch the baseball, they have to get rid of that baseball.
But basketball's the same way. It's one ball that they're using that everybody's touching.
Right. Well, no, exactly.
So
and they all have a lot more contact. So that's why it's crazy.
It's the point here, that we're assuming that these guys are going to test positive, even when they don't test positive, because if they're being checked once, twice, 3 times a day, they're having their temperature checked, and they're all coming up clean. Do we have a problem?
No, not at all. And the thing is, what if you have a fever, but it's for something else?
You're being sent home. You're being sent home.
I think that's a little. I think it's a little much.
They can't know because they can't take. How are you going to know?
Quarantine him. Test him. If he doesn't test positive, fever goes away.
That all's a time sensitive situation. So you can't have him out there with his teammates.
No. I'm saying separate him. But if he has a fever, but still tests negative for it, fever goes away. If he's still testing negative, then bring him back out.
I think the doom and gloom that we're all talking about, and I'm listening to you guys, and I think we're on the downside of a lot of this.
Yep.
So I'm kind of hoping that every day that passes, it gets better and better and better. And I think, there's a lot more smarter people out there than me that know this already, because if that were the case, we wouldn't be talking about, all this nonsense.
Right.
Because if they thought that there was a percentage that this was going to be an outbreak again amongst, and you know, who knows? We don't know.
No.
You don't know. You're looking at numbers. You know, we're all looking at numbers. We're all looking at, you know, how things are declining every day. You know, there's more tests being done. But I think like everything else in the world, I mean, you're talking about 3 months. This world's been shut down for 3 freaking months.
Yep.
Right.
You know, it's time to rock and roll.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, the fighters from MMA, you know, I think one of our guys on board said they've had one guy test positive, you know. So to me, you know, I mean, there's, you know, that's a nice, you know, push for guys that are sweating on each other. So, you know, if they can get it done, you got NASCAR. I mean, that's a lot of guys together. You know what I mean? And they seem to have gotten this figured out.
Yeah, there's not a lot of contact though in NASCAR, so I can see how they would have an easier time with it. As far as the other sports go, make a plan, take precautions, and go.
You have to,
right?
You have to. It's time. It's time. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to keep quarantining every 30 days. You can't do it.
You can't do that.
It's time to move on. You know, these guys are going to get tested. They're going to get tired of being tested. Baseball has a bigger issue. Baseball's got problems. They got problems between owners and the players union and management, and they got problems. So I don't know where you even begin to figure that out.
Yeah, there's a lot more moving pieces in baseball. It's just I think it's just a little more difficult.
That has nothing to do with the virus.
No, it has nothing to do with the virus, but trying to figure out everything as far as precautions and protocols and stuff like that to keep people safe and still be able to play the game. It's a lot to figure out. And if you're already having problems between the players and the owners, then that's even a bigger problem.
It's huge.
Right.
It's huge.
So
you guys back with us, Anthony? You back with us?
I think they're having
technical difficulties.
They're having technical difficulties?
Yeah, they can't. I don't think that. Well, they're going again.
So I got control of the show. I'm back in the.
Have at it.
Back in the saddle.
You can say whatever you want. Lauren's not here to hear you.
I usually do, so that's why I get in trouble all the time.
Yeah,
but it's you know, I think the bottom line is, you know, you've got to have some sort of a plan, and if you don't have a plan, then how are you going to execute anything? You know, I'll be honest with you, I like the baseball format of going back to Florida and back to Arizona and doing the Cactus League with the Grapefruit League. I thought that had a better chance of working, you know, than anything.
Yeah.
I really did.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that had a better, because look at the NBA. You know, the NBA, you know, is taking it to a location. Hockey is going to take it to 4 cities. They're narrowing it down, so you have less travel, you have less communicating with all these people. You know, you have a lot less. And I just thought that the Florida Arizona thing made a whole lot more sense. But like I said, the baseball, you know, there's problems. I mean, we're going back to, and when was the strike year, John? 95, 96?
94 was the year that they lost the World Series.
You know, I mean, we're finding ourselves right back in those predicaments.
Yep. Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
You know,
yeah. I mean, and they got to, you know, next year the contract is up. So you know that's even you know, it's a bad situation. You know, you look. You know, John, help me out here. They had a 50-50 deal in place back in March prior to the virus. Yep. Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean? Now the owners want to, you know, retract that. They want to pull it back. You know, they want the players to eat more of their salary. You know, when's enough?
Exactly. That's the whole problem. You know, baseball, we could be sitting in the same boat as hockey right now that, hey, we have a plan. It's just a matter of, you know, being able to to get them to play. It's just a matter of
Right.
The owners pulled the carpets out from under them, and now, hey, and then the players get mad about it, and then it looks like the players are being greedy about it when, the players, already agreed to give up a compensation, and a reduced salary because of it, and the owners agreed to that deal, so stick with it, and I mean the ones that I feel more bad about is the minor leaguers.
Oh, no doubt. Are you guys back with us?
Yeah.
Did you get a pizza delivered?
I wish. I literally have no idea what just happened.
It's all good. We went total baseball, so Anthony, join in at any time. We got about 10 minutes left in the show. We're talking baseball, and we don't have a clue. I don't think they have a clue.
No, it's a mess. I mean, it's being involved in it every day and not really know what's happening is frustrating. The guys that aren't going to be able to continue their career, or the guys that have been drafted. I mean, like every other sport, the guys are sort of on their own, but it seems like the other sports have at least had some significant discussions that have gone in a positive way. And I don't really feel like that, in baseball, which is frustrating. You have a very good sport that's sort of losing the popularity that it had years ago. And, if they are the one league that doesn't play, that doesn't look very good for its future. So, you got about a week to figure this out, unless I don't see things happening.
So let's talk about that a little bit. When you say we have a week, is there a drop dead date?
No, but they want to play for the 4th of July. That's sort of what the talk has been. Well, if you need at least 2 weeks to go back to spring training, and you got to get guys from the Dominican Republic or whatever country they're from, which isn't an easy process, you got to figure it out by let's say June 10th. Then by the time you get camp, then you can maybe play. If you play for a couple weeks, you can maybe play around the 4th of July, which is what they want to do. But you've seen the news, and every sport's getting reported on but baseball. Anytime it's something baseball related, it's something negative. It's just frustrating that other sports can at least get on the same page and talk about a plan. And it just seems like baseball is so far away from finding those answers. And, I think I caught the end of what John was saying about, the owners, people are going to be mad at the players, Bryce Harper makes $30-something million. Well, and he's still going to be making 8. I take 8. Well, that's not really a fair comparison. What the comparison should be is if you make $50,000 and they tell you you're going to now make $20,000, would you be upset? The answer is yes. So the owners are the ones that have a lot of that money from the television and all that stuff. Why does it come down to the players? It's, yes, they are still accountable and they have to, be involved. But at the same time, I don't think all that blame should come on the players at all.
Right. Yeah.
It always seems to filter back on the players, though. Right. Why is that?
Well, the players are the face. You don't see the owners very much. In Philadelphia, New York, New York, you know who the owners are. Most of the casual fans don't know who the owners are in Arizona or San Diego or something like that. So, if you see Mike Trout making $300 million or Bryce Harper making $300 million and they're not playing, it's very easy to not think and say it's the players' fault. Well, people need to understand that someone is paying the players. And, it's not all bad for I'm not trying to say that the owners are in the bad either. They want to make money. They're not allowed to have fans in. I get all that stuff. It's not ideal for anyone. However, the other leagues at least have good relationships where they can sort of come together. And I don't feel like that's happening right now. And in baseball, when you look outside and it's 70 or 80 degrees and it's beautiful out, it's very frustrating after a while that they can't figure it out.
Right.
Even if none of the sports happen, have a plan. I don't even feel like we got a plan.
Right. And this is an actual summer where there's no rain out in Reading. I'm seeing.
No, that's we would, as of a week and a half ago, we would have had 6 already, which is more than average.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But still, when you see days like it was today, we were at the stadium for an event earlier with the Humane Society. And it's just frustrating because everyone wants to go in. Everyone wants to go in and be around the field and all that stuff, and you can't. Even if it never happens, I would like a plan, a theoretical plan. And sometimes it just feels like baseball can't get out of its own way, and that's unfortunate.
Well, kind of like the NHL. I mean, they put a plan out there. They hope it happens. But if it doesn't, at least it feels like they're trying, and it doesn't feel like everybody's just so money hungry.
Well, and at the end of the day, you can never be mad at the NHL or the NBA, even if it doesn't happen. If it doesn't happen, it's because of health reasons that aren't their fault. If Major League Baseball doesn't happen, theoretically it's because of the health. But even if there was no health problems, you wouldn't have, we have no clue what's going to happen.
Right.
Well, and that's part of the problem with the owners pulled the carpet out. We had a deal in place with the players and the owners, and now it's not good enough.
That alone means money takes precedent over everything else in conversation, because that's what people hear.
Oh, well, of course. Like Anthony was saying, how would you feel with your pocketbook being taken away? It's your money and bring it to whatever numbers you want to bring it to. I mean, Bryce Harper's putting $21 million out of his pocket this year that he's not getting.
Right.
Are these guys overpaid? We all know that they're overpaid for what they do, but they're special players. And there's money there, so we can't look at the money as far as and it's hard to do as fans, but I mean that's just what I kind of look at it. I never really get mad.
Well, I think people forget too. The baseball is the oldest players union. It's the oldest sport. It's the strongest players union. When I get frustrated that there's no salary cap, that's because going into a year, I don't feel like the Pirates can compete with the Yankees most years. And if you get to the playoffs, it's a miracle, and you don't think you're going to go that far. In football or basketball, you could be horrendous one year, and then next year get to the playoffs or almost get to the playoffs and at least feel like you have a chance. Baseball is the only sport where you don't have that. So these are just some of the little things that have been going on for a very, very long time, that when something like this happens, you say, geez, man, get your stuff together, because there are a lot of big issues that we're not figuring out.
Yeah, I mean,
is this enough to make some type of change down the road?
Anytime something like this happens, you hope that you could, but if you just look at the day-to-day things, I'm not very confident. I hope you wake up tomorrow and here's the plan and we're all on the same page and we're all going to work together, but it doesn't feel like that right now.
Right.
I mean it's fascinating, because we were talking about the salary cap earlier, and you said something along the lines of, LeBron James can get a contract in a salary cap and be perfectly happy. But then you have somebody like Bryce Harper where there's no salary cap. And, I mean, they're somewhat similar in a sense. I mean, I understand Bryce Harper's never won a championship, but still just a big name in their sport.
Right.
So it works for other athletes, and it works in other sports. So why wouldn't it work in baseball?
I just feel like, and this is just, me speaking, I feel like just sometimes they're always two steps behind, I feel like they've always been sort of not the most innovative league that there is, going back for decades and decades and decades, it always seems like there has been either a big event in society or something, something big for them to change. If this doesn't get you to figure something out, I don't know what will.
Right. No, it's true.
Baseball doesn't ever seem happy. They always want to change something. The game's not fast enough. They constantly tweaking things and making changes, and just leave the damn game alone.
Well, they see that, they see the popularity of those other sports that are moving fast, but as I've said forever, they just don't market themselves properly. They market themselves, to buy the MLB package. It's someone catching a ball at the wall or a fast double play, when in reality that doesn't happen very often. The marketing should be someone walking in with their dad very slow, and then guys at a suite area having a beer, and the conversations that you have at a baseball game. That's why it is what it is, and they're going away from that to compete. And by doing that, you're actually hurting it from the people that actually enjoy it.
True. I also think that a lot of people are upset that the games went from 2.5 to 3 hours to now 4.5 hours, because they've actually slowed it down a little bit with the lag between pitches and all that other stuff, which doesn't really bother me too much. But I hear people complain about that.
That's because they're not baseball fans.
Exactly.
The game's 3 hours. It was 3 hours and 9 minutes, and they want to get it down to 3 hours. You're trying to save 9 minutes in a baseball game. That's 30 seconds an inning for each. So the guy runs out there a little faster. It's like if that 30 seconds to a minute is going to make a difference, that you're going to like it versus you're not going to like it. You're never going to like it anyway, because if a minute, 9 minutes of your life, I can't go to a game because it's 9 minutes too long.
It's really like, I guess it's maybe not the best comparison, but like if you own a Buick, you're not trying to advertise it as a Lamborghini. But there are people that like Buick, so why are you advertising it like a Lamborghini? You know what I mean? Like, you are what you are. Embrace that and do a good job at it. They don't, unfortunately, that I don't feel like that's the case.
Right.
Well, be it the case, our hour is up, and we need John to run down number 13 again and see if anyone's changed their votes or what we got going on here. So
no, there's no changing.
Well, no, just changing their mind.
That's long gone.
No, he's not talking about us. He's talking about the viewers, that we may have just changed their minds throughout the day. That's all. Throughout the show. For the Phillies, we got Billy Wagner. He thought the fans were booing at him because he didn't reach 100 miles an hour on his first pitch when he threw 99, and they were booing that he got 99 miles an hour. Nelson Aguilar for the Eagles, Kevin Hayes for the Flyers.
Yes.
And Wilt Stilt Chamberlain for the Sixers. So we have a good group of guys here.
Yep.
Obviously, in some people's opinion, there's only one person in this race, but that's Kevin Hayes. But it's good.
I voted for Tim Kerr too.
Yep. Well, you're keeping your streak alive. That you voted for one Sixer and you're good.
Well, I don't know.
Shows your versatility there, Carl.
I'll let it go.
It's all good. I think it's going to be good. We're going to have the poll going up probably around 8:00 tonight, and you'll have till 7:30 tomorrow night to get in and make your vote. Make sure you click on the circle and put the little check mark in there for your vote, so it gets all counted. If you make the comments, we all appreciate the comments, and we'll engage with you with the talks. But those votes don't count unless you're pushed into the poll itself.
Look at that! I even got a vote tonight.
I don't know why Larry's voting for you.
See?
There you go.
The fans are coming out.
You took a stand, and it's good.
You want to tell everybody when you're opening back up again?
That would be next Friday, June 5th.
There you go.
June 5th, next Friday.
Thank God.
Yes.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, then you'll have to find something else to be on your high horse about.
Woo.
I don't know what that means. I don't
Shots
know.
fired.
I don't own a horse.
Mm.
Never rode a horse in my life. I'm just an old-fashioned hockey guy.
Oh God.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Takeaways. You had sent me a photo of Wilt Chamberlain since
Besides take me away.
It was a very interesting stat. In his 140 or 1,045 games, Wilt Chamberlain 557 times scored 30 plus points a game.
Pretty
284. You're not impressed yet. 284 times.
I said pretty impressive.
Right. Well, 284 times he scored 40 points or more in the game. 122 times he scored 50 points or more a game. 32 times he scored 60 points or more a game. 6 times he scored 70 points or more. And of course, the one time he scored 100 points. But the more amazing point, I think, out of all those 1,045 games, what happened to the 43 games that he scored less than 30 points? I just don't understand that. Was he sick or? But no, he's from Philadelphia. He's our guy. Grew up here, so he's bigger than life in Philly. So congratulations to Will.
I'm changing my damn vote. I didn't know he did all that.
Yeah, just a couple of things, plus with all his other accomplishments. But, yeah.
Mario, takeaway?
I don't know. It seems like baseball's just never going to get it together. So I will settle for whatever happens and be more than happy to watch hockey and basketball. So that's it.
My takeaway is that we need to wake up tomorrow and find out that the baseball managers, general managers, players have all come to an agreement, and we're all going to be back on the field very, very, very soon.
I hope you're right.
I feel it. I
hope you're right.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I hope that there's just some positive communication. Even if whatever side's frustrated right now, you just go into it with an open mind the next day, come in fresh and hope for the best, because at the end of the day, everyone just wants us to play. They just want, the kids just want to watch a game and the players just want to play. So, whatever happened the day before or the hour before, after lunch, whenever you go in fresh and try to figure it out. Just keep trying to figure it out.
I will say that for the last couple weeks, all we've heard about is open up. And I hope that moving forward, when life is back to normal, people never take average life things for granted again. The next time you're at a baseball game, drinking a $13 beer, don't bitch about it, because that's what you wanted the summer of 2020. So don't take that stuff for granted anymore. When you get to go out to dinner, it's not just another dinner out. When you get to go to the grocery store without a mask on, I think the lesson in all of this is stop taking everyday life things for granted and enjoy what you have, because it was taken away from all of us so fast that people freaked out.
Yep.
And now all they want is everything back open again. But I hope when it is, they remember that it still can easily all just go away again. So
Good
stop
job.
taking everyday life for granted.
Good job.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Can't agree more.
Yep.
So,
All right.
With
That's
that,
it.
We're an hour and we're 8 minutes and 30 seconds over our allotted
This would
time.
not go well if this was a baseball game, because we're not going to go over
I know.
our allotted time frame.
No way. Nope.
God.
No way.
but 9
All right.
minutes.
And we'll be back Monday,
Yep.
June 1st.
June 1st.
There
Wow.
you go.
So
Crazy.
Some great news coming. I can feel it.
All right.
Hopefully you're right. Here we go. Good night, guys.
all right.
See you, everybody.